it seems so today we talk about the current box office day. So today we have the new box office update and what has been going on. So the critically acclaimed Dune is number one at the box office. Basically, here the number one movie in the box office is Dune. Yep, Dune is the number one movie in the box office. Okay, I gotta go back here. Which means, yep, the movie will likely make money at the box office here. And yeah, Dune has made $40 million at the box office and $180 million internationally. Which means this movie is gonna make money at the end. Like, No Time to Die, I said will, and Halloween Kills has already made back its money. It's only a $20 million budget movie. And Venom will, for 2, I said all 4 movies will make back the money. Dune is like gonna make money. And of course, I might say, of course, probably lots old where he says the movie's gonna probably flop. He's gonna probably say that. He puts his predictions, which sometimes are rarely ever accurate. But, yeah. Because he's the one that said that Black Widow was this big, massive flop that no one wanted to see. Basically. And yeah, we haven't had a movie open over 40 million, 100 million. I think the totals might open over 100 million. But, we have to go through movies that might, flop, like The Last Night in Soho and, of course, Antlers, which I think are 2 movies that are probably not going to do too well at the box office, compared to the bigger movies. Because I know people can say, but why are you underestimating those movies? That's because they are not franchise films, but again, the box office is recovering, so most movies that are gonna make money are going to be franchise films. I don't know why people don't get this. Most of the movies that are going to make money, that are going to make massive loads of money for companies now, are going to be huge franchise films. That's why you had movies like even Henson flop, movies like Cry Monster flop. You had movies like Ron's Gone Wrong, which will get right into that movie. That movie flopped. The Last Duel flopped. Okay, and again, the fan is just making the excuses for Last Duel and why it flopped. Again, they're saying the movie's too feminist or blah blah blah. The fandom is, which is basically the extreme side of the movie aisle. Basically, they're the extreme side of the movie aisle. We all know ever since the whole, attempts to make Black Widow flop that have failed. And we all know they have failed because, we saw like the videos that post like Black Widow crying, oh, Black Widow's flopping, but then movies that they completely praise drop the same percentage as them, and they are completely sound about them, which is proof that the fandom is basically a bunch of liars. Like Venom at the Beacons drops the same as Black Widow, and Space Jam: A New Legacy is the biggest example. Drops the same percentage as Black Widow. They don't really give a crap, essentially. But Dune is doing very well at the box office. It has made $220 million currently, and it will likely make money at the box office. And it depends if it has bad rigs, and it ends up like at $80 million at the box office or something like that. It's or $80 to $90 million, like Venom 2 is performing with Black Widow, and it performs like $90 million and has like these abysmal rigs because of the Eternals and Clifford, which I don't think was. I think the movie's biggest competition will be coming in 2 weeks. The Eternals. I don't think the Last Night at Soho will really do anything to Dune. Basically, and yeah, this movie's doing really well at the box office. $220 million domestically, and it is probably gonna beat the Last Night at Soho on its first weekend, and Antlers definitely could beat Antlers. So next is Halloween Kills. This is a movie I think people don't like. If you look at the Blu-ray video, yeah, people don't care about this movie. This movie is extremely poorly received, and no one's watching it, essentially. The movie has made money, so yeah, but we already covered this yesterday. This movie's having abysmal and awful legs. This movie's having abysmal and awful legs. You can really see by the box office receipts here how it's just starting to curve down and then continue to do abysmally afterwards. Okay, next is No Time to Die. Yep, this movie has made money. Yeah, the fandom won't like to hear that. especially Odin, will probably say, "Oh, it needs to make $600 million to break even." This movie's going to make money at the end of its tunnel, anyways. And this movie has a $250 million budget. Assume the budget is $300 million. It needs to make $300 million to break even. Blah blah blah. But this movie has made the $500 million to break even. The budget is $250 million. And the rigs are doing okay. Those are like your average James Bond movie. Essentially, it's not doing as well as Spectre and other James Bond movies. It'll probably have a small drop next weekend because, The Last Night in Soho is not going to really probably do that well at the box office. I know people really why you continue underestimating The Last Night in Soho. Well, I don't think it's going to make that much money. Okay? No Time to Die is going to make money at the end. This is the next movie. I know Venom Puerto Pecans is probably a pretty good movie, but the fandom it just picks sides. They will complain about this movie first. Oh my god, why is Venom too gay? And now they're just just praising the movie. Why? Okay? The movie's basically performing like Black Widow. Or the fact that the movie performed, higher in its first weekend than Black Widow. Okay? The movie's basically performing like Black Widow. But again, the Phantom Menace, they're stupid. They're dumb. Okay? The movie will likely end up around $191 million. Okay? Black Widow at this point was at $167 million. And it ended at $183 million. So if we're assuming that it's compared to Black Widow, it has $60 million left. It has $20 million left. So it's going to make $201 million to $202 million domestically. This movie is performing like Black Widow. The Phantom Menace is going to get angry at that because I said that. Because they really love this movie. But I'm just saying the facts as it is. This movie is performing in terms of rig-wise as Black Widow. Okay? And F9 was another movie they praised. F9, another movie that they praised and called a masterpiece, basically. And Venom is performing basically like Black Widow. Yep. It dropped like 65%. F9 did the same thing as well. But again, they're gonna go and play and say Black Widow flopped, but not F9 and not Venom. All three movies did not lose money. Okay? But the Phantom Menace is us picking the straws and saying they can decide which movies are fair and which movies didn't. They said nothing when F9 dropped 70%. They said nothing when Venom dropped 67%. And they definitely said nothing when Space Jam and New Legacy dropped 67%. And they praised that movie for beating Black Widow, the big bad feminist movie, at the box office. So, yeah. Yeah, Venom, absolutely. Yeah, Ron's gone wrong. Yeah, Ron has really gone wrong because nobody wants to see this movie. Another box office failure by Disney, and another disaster for animated movies. Animated movies have just continuing on bombing at the box office, and it's just so sad to see. I think there's a simple fix for it. I've been saying this for the last 2 years. Make animated movies more accessible for older audiences, okay? A lot of older audiences are sick of seeing, the problem with animated movies nowadays is that animation is perceived as only for kids. Yep. And that's why animated movies continue flopping at the box office. And Hollywood doesn't seem to get that memo that people want change and difference in animated movies. Animated movies can be dark. Animated movies should have more deeper tones. Not just the same 5 jokes. Yeah, and not just the same 5 stories, okay? We should have more darker and gritty animated movies. What happened in movies like Mulan, the original Mulan, not the remake that nobody liked? That movie had light and dark tones in it. It was a perfect balance of both light and dark tones. You had other movies as well, like Toy Story, the original 3 Toy Stories. Toy Story 4 wasn't that bad, but it wasn't as great as the first 3. And that is really saying something, okay? Because animated movies are not more about, jokes and trying to be funny and trying to, tell jokes. And that's why I had criticism when I first saw the Soul trailer. He said, oh yeah, Pixar's doing the same thing again. Though I can get praised for it because, and my minority representation in movies, you know, it's that stuff. And that's probably why the critics love Soul. That's probably the only reason why, because the critics, they only care about diversity now. They don't care about how good a movie is or not. Soul might be a good movie, but I don't plan on seeing it anytime soon. Same thing of Luca, same thing of Raya and the Last Dragon, and same thing of Tom and Jerry as well. Okay, I did see the Boss Lady 2, and that was an enjoyable movie, but other than that, I don't really care about animated movies anymore, because all of the movies, when you look at the trailers, they all seem like the same movies, okay? They all seem the same. There's no real difference in them at all. And that's why it's easy to say by the same 5 jokes, the same 5 story settings. It's getting old now, okay? And Ron's Gone Wrong is also a ripoff. It's also similar to another movie that came out earlier this year, which is really showing, basically, how lazy animated movies are. We had the whole Yeti trend, and now we had the new technology trend. First we had Mitchell's versus Machines, and now we have Ron's Gone Wrong. Both of them are about technology. Okay, robots that either help or harm humanity. I think that animated movies need a real take up. I think we need more PG-13 animated movies, and we need more R-rated animated movies. Okay, not every animated movie has to be a PG movie made for kids. Okay. Next, we'll be going to the next movie at the box office, which is The Addams Family 2. Yeah, this movie is very poorly received. We know this movie has made money, has a small budget. And considering it's a small budget movie, it has released also on a streaming service, and it's doing pretty okay-ish ratings-wise. This movie should end up around 55 to 57, like Boss Baby did. Okay, and yeah, it's gonna probably end up around that, and it's gonna probably be enough to make an Addams Family free, as much as we dread saying that. Next is The Last Duel. Again, it is because people don't really want to see, it's the same reason why Cry Monster and Dear Evan Hansen are flopping. People just don't want to see this stuff right now. People, and especially, and no, Venom mess, okay? Not because of feminism, it's not because of wokeness, and The Last Duel is just a flop. That's because I think people just don't care. It's not a franchise film. And older people are the ones that are going to go see this movie anyways, and they're not showing up either. And I think that non-franchise films are going to struggle for a while to find their footing. Free Guy is the first real non-franchise film that done well. I think this really goes into deeper the past couple of years. Non-franchise films continue to flop and just not do well at the box office. Look at Midway. That movie bombed at the box office, despite being a very good movie. Because people would rather see ice princesses like Frozen 2. Same thing with War vs. Warrior, another masterpiece. But bombed at the box office because people would rather see Frozen 2. I know Knives Out made money. I didn't really like Knives Out that much as many other people. It was a good movie, but I don't really think it's worth watching again. But yeah, The Last Duel, another box office failure, which is sad that it's basically about franchise films. Next is Shang-Chi. Oh yeah, Shang-Chi is nearing the end of his box office life. Oh yeah, The Eternals is coming out in a couple of weeks, and this movie will probably get a boost from The Eternals. It'll probably make like $1 million next week, and it'll probably make another $1 million the week afterwards because some people will double dip with Shang-Chi and The Eternals. Like people did with Captain Marvel with Endgame, and Black Panther and Infinity War, and Black Widow and Shang-Chi, of course. So yeah, Shang-Chi has been an enormous success at the box office. Next is The French Dispatch, another indie movie. It has only 52 theaters. It's doing really well for 52 theaters. There's as well. So yeah, there you go about the box office. Other than Ron's Gone Wrong and The Last Duel, most of the movies that have came out this month has been done really well. I don't really have high hopes for The Last Night Soho at the box office considering it's not a franchise film. film. But again, they might prove us wrong once again as well. And yeah, that's basically about this video. Goodbye.